is up, guys? Merry Christmas. It's your boy GRC. I'm coming at you live every single day at 11 a.m. Eastern. Crypto in the morning. Flying solo. Christmas Day. Let's go. How is everyone doing? I'm so excited. I love Christmas. If you guys didn't check out my thumbnail from this morning, this little guy on the right is looking for price appreciation. But today we're going to be talking about the memes of the year. Really, 2022 in crypto was just one big meme fest. Was it not? It was. So it's Christmas. Everyone's with their families today. I don't want to stress too much. So I'm just going to run you through a beautiful catalog of wonderful memes and wonderful scenarios with my commentary of 2022. And I'll tell you, I highlighted 3. So there was like 6, but I highlighted 3. So obviously FTX has to make the list because we can spin that with the news from today too. There's some important stuff. And 2 is ButtBoy. So BitBoy Crypto made it to the list. The Bahama Reno 911 cop, federal agent, crypto billionaire, everything in the world. That is the truth about BitBoy. And I'm BitBoy's biggest critic. I'm blocked by ButtBoy. And then the Pulse Chain Sacrifice, Richard Hart, 2022. I mean, was that the meme of the year? I think it was. So, but I want to keep it on a light and funny note to start. So let's rewind just to start. Let's preface this. 6 months ago today, my boy, Sam Bankman-Fried. You already know the kid. He's a superstar. But 6 months ago, he just had a one-on-one, laser-focused, locked-in, alpha male conversation over here with Mr. Suit and Butt. And he was on so much amphetamines. I mean, we're talking 120 milligrams of XR at least. At least. He's shaking like a leaf. This will be a great way to start this. And then I'll get to the comments when we come back, guys. But first, you already know what time it is.
You already know what time it is.
Crypto in the morning.
Crypto in the morning.
Crypto in the morning.
Waiting on phone.
Crypto in the morning. Crypto in the morning.
Ready to take notes.
Crypto in the morning.
Crypto in the morning.
Crypto in the morning.
Waiting on phone.
Crypto in the morning. Crypto in the morning.
Ready to take notes.
Smoking no blunt on my way to the gym. 11 a.m. and I'm already tuned in. Got me some hacks and I'm making a stake. Got me some heads on, I'm making it rain. Pay me some maxi and that's just in case. Jim Reddit sent me to show you the way.
D5 Pro. Yeah.
Crypto in the morning.
Crypto in the morning.
Crypto in the morning.
Waiting on phone.
Crypto in the morning. Crypto in the morning.
Ready to take notes.
Crypto in the morning.
Crypto in the morning.
Crypto in the morning.
Waiting on phone.
Crypto in the morning. Crypto in the morning.
Ready to take notes.
Primary regulator. The crypto community seems very happy about that. They seem to have soured a little bit on Chairman Gensler at the SEC. What's your evaluation of this bill? Is this good for the crypto community?
So I think getting regulatory clarity is huge. And I think it's good for everyone. I think it gives customer protection that we're missing right now, real federal oversight, protection against financial crimes, against systemic risk, and at the same time, allows the industry to move back onshore and bring real liquidity to U.S. markets. So I think it's a win-win to have federal oversight. From my perspective, look, it could come from the SEC, it could come from the CFTC, or some combination. The important thing is that it happens. So I welcome the efforts, from the Cinema Gillibrand, the Lumps Gillibrand effort there. The efforts that I know a number of other people have been putting in.
Is the CFTC a more sympathetic?
Why does he look like I looked like during Christmas in 2003 when I was 11? was not 11. I was 9. Anyway, why is he so excited? Why is he acting like a little child? Why is he not acting like a normal guy? Why is he jumping up and down like a fucking freak? Remember, this was 6 months ago, guys, and this is an all meme episode, and we have way, way, way more fun. If you want fun for a quick hour, like, come on. I'll be easy on him.
Audience, do you think the crypto community seems to think
We'll be
so?
quick.
So they've certainly had more experience, I think, with the asset class. When you look at, Bitcoin futures have been live on CFTC venues for a few years. So I think that they've built up a lot of knowledge about the industry, and I think they've been.
Okay. I feel bad now. Christian, you just cut through me like a Christmas teddy bear. So you know what? You already know he was fluffing it up. Let's get right into the beef and potatoes.
Disappointed by your. So I have to say, I'm a little disappointed by your backdrop, because I thought because of that clampdown that you've moved your headquarters from Hong Kong to the Bahamas. Where's the beach?
Cause I'm an island boy and I've been trying to make. Oh, I'm an island boy. I'ma just island boy. I'ma just island boy. I'ma just keep that done. I'll be just staring at the sun. I'm just a fool gazing. I'm like, where I'm staying. They're like, you wanna be famous? I'm trying to be out the greatest. I'm a Florida boy. They got a real damn shot. I'm an island boy. Put my best on, yeah. Like a walk one man. Trying to make it to the top. I'm an island boy. I've been trying to make it.
I mean, the Wi-Fi is actually not that great in the water, but no. I'm.
Come on. Was that good? Was that good or not? Was that good or not? Christian, was that transition not professional or not? Come on, dude. I'm a pro, Christian. I might be a pro at this. Oh, that shit. I never watched the full thing. I didn't know he got into the jazz band at the end. Oh, that was so good. That video was made a year ago. I found it this morning. One more time through, guys. Biceps in the chat. Merry Christmas from Bullish Ox. I hope his little niños and his little family members that he's got all around town are having a good time on Christmas. You gotta better believe it. I guarantee the little ones are all excited. I'm sure there's 100 little ones over there around Christmas time. GRC, oh come on! I smoked that. I ran that. We're gonna run that back. And that was too good, bro. Clip out that whole segment for me, and I say that every time, and I've never got a clip. Let's go.
I have to say, I'm a little disappointed by your backdrop, because I thought because of that clampdown that you've moved your headquarters from Hong Kong to the Bahamas. Where's the beach?
Cause I'm an island boy and I've been trying to make. Oh, I'm an island boy. I'ma just island boy. I'ma just island boy. I'ma just keep that done. I'll be just staring at the sun. I'm just a fool gazing. I'm like, where I'm staying. They're like, you wanna be famous? I'm trying to be out the greatest. I'm a Florida boy. They got a real damn shot. I'm an island boy. Put my best on, yeah. Like a walk one man. Trying to make it to the top. I'm an island boy. I've been trying to make it.
I mean, the Wi-Fi is actually not that great in the water, but no. I'm.
That little piece of crap. That shit is too funny. Sorry about the language, guys. I'm gonna try to keep it tight. It's Christmas. Could be kids around. I don't want to be too wild. Yeah, so we all know the winner of the meme of the year goes to SPF. But there were some close runner-ups too. You know, there were really, really, really close runner-ups. Like really close runner-ups. And I'm going to show one that just didn't make the list. It didn't make the list of 3, but it has probably the best meme video. So we're going to go ahead and play it. And trust me, billions of dollars were lost. Everyone knew about this one. This made the average crypto investor with a hint of DeFi nerd in them sick to their stomach. They'll never use crypto again. Terra Luna, guys, give a biceps in the chat for Do Kwon. Right now, we have forgot about him. And I don't want to forget because those memes will live forever.
I'm so tired of constantly losing money on risky altcoins. I want more safety in my life.
You mean you want to focus on Bitcoin or something?
Probably. It would be nice if there was an even safer option in crypto.
There is. Don't you know about stablecoins?
What? Stablecoins?
Yeah, stablecoins. These are cryptocurrencies which values are tied to another currency such as the US dollar. There is no volatility in these coins, so you don't have to stress about losing money.
But can I make money on stablecoins?
Not on all stablecoins, but I do know a very good one on which you can earn staking rewards. Terra Luna.
Terra Luna?
Yeah, Terra Luna is a stablecoin which gives you staking rewards. You can earn a passive income from it.
That sounds amazing. I'm gonna put my life savings in there since it's safe and based on the US dollar. Free passive income for me.
What the fuck?
Time to stop gambling crypto like a maniac and be a responsible investor. I may not make huge profits with this strategy, but at least my money is safe and I earn a nice passive income from staking. There you go. It feels good knowing that I can't lose money this time.
Bonjour.
Mr. Gvon.
로드 보그데노프. How can I help you?
Dump Terra Luna.
But Terra Luna is a stablecoin. My lot.
Excuse me?
Terra Luna is a stablecoin. It cannot be dumped.
Why not?
It will destroy the whole crypto market.
Switch is actually possible?
Well, technically it is possible, but
Then dump it right now. Press an order, Mr. Gvon.
it will be done, my lord. I would like to apologize for my behavior.
It feels so good to have my money invested into something that doesn't get shattered to the ground. For years I have been losing money, while all this time I could just put it into Terra Luna and get staking rewards. Terra Luna is my hero.
Holy shit.
I feel horrible if people lost a bunch of money in that, but that was such a good meme because everyone who invested in that stuff thought that they were a superior human being, but really they were just buying a skin tag token, and like it wasn't that hard to tell. But yes, I know. I feel horrible. The Daquan one got a lot of average investors, which sucks. The FTX one got a lot of rich people, which doesn't suck as much, just as like that's overall sentiment, I guess. Because they can still eat normal food and have a nice warm home. All right, you guys are making me upset. This is a meme episode. Don't you forget it. And let's switch it up. Let's switch it all the way up to Butt Boy. Everyone knows I'm blocked on Twitter from Butt Boy because of my diabolical Reno 911 memes. When he was in the Bahamas chasing around SBF, I circulated as many Reno 911 memes about BitBoy. in Amazon handcuffs, and it was all the funny stuff. And he blocked me. And ever since then, I've just been having fun with it because why not? You know, he thinks he's the biggest freedom fighter in crypto. I think he might be the biggest joke in the world. And there's no, I mean, but who knows? Maybe I'm just an idiot. I don't know.
I'm the one out here putting the work in behind the scenes trying to save crypto while these devils, Sam Bankman-Fried, Brian Armstrong, they're trying to permanently ruin it. This is not about money for me. I hope you guys understand this. I'm here fighting for you. It's me. This guy, these freaking glasses on, this douchebag is out here trying to tell you that only the suits know what to do. Only the suits. Only the people who have all the money. They're the ones who can determine what happens. No, our bill is for the people. And you're going to find this out. I don't represent the people. The fuck I don't. Fuck I don't. Fuck I don't. Fuck I don't. The fuck I don't. Fuck I don't. Fuck I don't. Fuck I don't. I'm the one out here putting the work in behind the scenes trying to save crypto while these devils, they're trying to permanently ruin it.
He simply cannot be trusted with financial advice because you don't know if he's trying to enrich you or himself. Here's a prime example of that. So he made a video a while back on a token or a cryptocurrency where the price could only go up.
What if I told you there's a project guaranteed to increase in price? I know you would probably want to jump in, but I'm sure the first thought you would have would be, wait a second, that doesn't sound right. Well, this is where we get into the complicated gray areas of decentralized finance.
What was that, BitBoy? A project that's guaranteed to go up in price? Let's see where this project is today. Wow. Would you look at that? Now that we see up in price, let's see where this project is today. Wow.
Whoops, I'm muted. Damn it. I'm so sorry. Oh, algo pumper. Algo pumper. Boom. You like that algo pumper? Algo pumper. Get that. I said, Lane, thank you so much for the super sticker. I very much appreciate you. Here's the chart. Here's the butt boy chart. And, you know, I try. It's Christmas meme episode, so we're trying to be funny. At the end of the day, BitBoy's not the worst guy ever, but he's not a guy I'd ever go on a party bus with a couple of ladies, throwing a couple back, gambling. Not with BitBoy. Not with me. I would talk to him. I think he's an interesting conversation, but he's kind of like SBF without the money. Dr. V. Ray, dude, what's up, guys? I know I've been ignoring everyone on DMs and stuff, but it's just been it's hard to do this shit every day and keep up with it, man. I got a life, and it's like, oh, I'm just basically trying to like bounce between this and my real life and trying to figure it all out while I go. But it is funny, and but real quick, my favorite part was when BitBoy said, there's some complicated DeFi nuance that makes this go up in price forever. That's a life sentence where I'm from. If I ever did that once, I would want to be never allowed back. And that's why I'm hard on these guys. I would never. I would be scared. I'm not a butt boy though. Like butt boy's butt boy.
Gray areas of where we get into.
There's some gray areas. Listen to the nuance here. He tries to really get that butt boy verbiage in there, that word salad.
The complicated gray areas of decentralized finance.
What was that, BitBoy? A project that's guaranteed to go up in price? Let's see where this project is today. Wow.
Whoopsie bit boy. Sorry if you're watching. Merry Christmas. This is kind of a meme. I want to know if this is a meme. Like I've sacrificed for Pulse Chain. I'm not gonna lie to anyone. I'm not gonna play it. I'm not gonna play it cool. Okay. But I gotta meme it up for fucking Christmas here. I'm sorry. I have to. I have an obligatory journalistic. I must. Okay. I must. There's just some things.
Did I put a lot in the Post Chain? Or did I sacrifice a lot? Yeah. Am I sour about it? No. Do I wish I had it back? No. I mean, I would say, yeah, it'd be nice to have it back, but would I sell my sacrifice wallet or something like that? Nah. I think Post Chain will come out, but I'm sick of fucking talking about it. I'm sick of reading tweets of people saying, oh, Post Chain's going to be so amazing. Post Chain's going to be this. It's like, you guys look stupid, to me at least. It's been almost 2 years since that sacrifice, bro. It's been almost 2 years, 2.5, maybe a year and a half since that shit. And we still sitting here talking about transaction PostX. I think PostX will burn those fees. PostX, I think it'll burn one of the fees. The price is gonna do. Like, man, you don't get the fuck out of here talking about that shit. Go find something else to talk about. It's other stuff, man. It's stuff that's booming. Zen just pumped like 300%. Hexkins ain't say shit. Like, I can't wait for Post Chain. I can't wait, and I will.
I'm funny, dude. There's no way I'm not the funniest. That was funny, dude. I don't know when I thugged that clip up. That must have been last night. I just saw his face on there, so I clicked it. I was like, I must have time-stamped it for myself, too. Legendary move by GRC on Christmas. They call that a Ginobili, where I'm from, on the b-ball court. Guys, I'm a big Richard fan, and I'm hard on Richard, but I am a big Richard Hart fan, and I don't think he's ever scammed anyone. I think he played by the rules as much as he literally possibly could. And I have a feeling that people don't like that Ethereum's transactions are super expensive. So basically, I understand all this, but I am going to meme it up. And PNW Sasquatch, bro, I'm going to have to send you a fruit basket or I have to get you a pat on the Sally next time I see you. I appreciate the super chat, dude. Thank you so much for the super chat. That's so nice on Christmas, guys. That's so nice. I stream every day. Hey, I think it's pretty boss that I stream every day. That's like my minimum. Like, I have to do it. And I don't know. It's not always easy, but I will do it, and I committed to it, and I'm happy about it. And I appreciate you guys. This makes me stay. Like, I know it's Christmas. Like, people are doing stuff with their families. We're just having fun. It's not been as serious lately. SBF kind of rugged everything for a while. But it's all about discipline. Discipline is doing something every single day. I don't want to be doing this right now necessarily, but I love doing it, and I love talking to you guys. But like, it's, I got family stuff and all this other stuff, but I wanted to do it more than anything else. And I think it's important to know that in life, you'll find people that do things. It's not always for money. This isn't for money. Am I doing this on Christmas for money? No. I'm doing this because I really like it. And in my life, I haven't found anything that I really enjoyed doing. Frankly, I was making more money doing other stuff, of course. But when you have a passion for something, it just kind of overrides everything. But let's not take it off the memes. PNW Sasquatch, thank you so much for the $100 super chat. Can't stay this morning, but wanted to pop in and say Merry Christmas. That's big time. That's big time. I'm going to leave that one up because thank you. This is, the popular shows are when all the DeFi crypto things are going down. And Merry Christmas, Franklin. Merry Christmas, Christian. Merry Christmas, UFO. Merry Christmas, fake news. Merry Christmas, Duke of Booze. Duke of Booze. Merry Christmas, Chad. I must hit the thumbs up. Yo, get them run them likes up, guys. Run them likes up. It's Christmas. That Trayvon gives me the shit. That shit was funny though with Trayvon. Bullish. GRC, sell your pulse. Who's buying pulse tack wallets? Dr. V. Ray. Guys, thank you so much. We'll keep this one up and let's get back into the meme action. We got a little Richard Art up next. It's the classic. Let's date it real quick. Oh, this is a K4K video. Critical that we note. 8 months ago, published. K4K crypto. Richard Hart, Pulse Chain mainnet, 2 weeks after sacrifice totals. K4K clips. Thank you for the K4K clips on that one, bruh. Join it up. If you're not joined up, you won't get these kind of hot pieces. So, again, a guy on the top left also has blocked me. Richard has also blocked me at some point, unblocked me on Hex's 3rd birthday. Iconic moment. Iconic moment in the history of Hex. Richard unblocking me on Hex's 3rd birthday for me talking about Zen. That one will live in infamy for me. 3rd birthday. I love the 3rd birthday. I love stuff that happens like on a specific day, and then you could just, oh, it's Hex's 3rd. Like, what the fuck? I didn't know it was Hex's 3rd birthday until someone else told me, but it's funny. Hex, interesting stuff, guys. What an interesting life we live. Let's see what Richie has to say. This was 8 months ago.
It's not. That sucks. But then the super hard stuff, like bridge, it's like been done forever. You're like, so a lot of times the easy stuff. I mean, look, man, once SAC totals are like done and published, it feels like 2 weeks.
2 weeks after SAC totals?
I mean, I'd like to be done in 4 weeks. Like I'd like mainnet to be in 4 weeks, but every time estimate I've ever given has been wrong. And I've been telling you they would be wrong ahead of time because I know how this goes. No one would have ever expected SAC totals would take this long. That's supposed to be the easiest part. Like measure how much people sacrifice. That should be the easiest thing. And then you're like, wow, oddly enough, it's not. That sucks. But then the super hard stuff, like bridge, it's like been done forever. You're like, so a lot of times the easy stuff ends up being hard. The hard stuff ends up being easy. I mean, we're so close, man. And you can tell because the testnet works. Like you can go use it. It's been working for a long time now. It's just that, like, you could even if we had consensus bugs, you could fix those and patch those. But like you can't.
Fade away 3-point shot by K4K Crypto, updating all his people on that 8 months ago. Excuse me. Just kidding, guys. K4K, if you're watching this, come on, man. You know I'm just playing. I'm just pulling up whatever popped up this morning when I was looking through everything. So
Ethereum is max.
We'll do one more. We'll do one more of the funny Richard Hart ones, and I'm done. I'm a sacrificer. I can't shit on them too much, or they'll all block me. But it's too funny. It's too funny not to cover. I hate that. I hate when something's too funny not to cover, but it's not in my best interest. It's the worst because I just always defer to laughing. I can't help it. It's just my rebellion. Let's see what Richard had to say. This was 1 year ago, guys. This was 1 year ago. We were all chillaxing, dropping fat freaking stacks on sacrifices, popping bottles, getting just disgustingly wet. Just disgustingly wet. We were all wet AF and ready to go. We were, and if you know that lingo, you know what I'm talking about.
Stop. It's full. Okay. Well, got to build another network. One with higher throughput, lower fees, doesn't destroy the environment. Remove the proof of waste, proof of work miners with proof of stake. Beat Ethereum 2.0 to market with a superior feature set. Remove centralization. Ethereum 2.0 over $200 million has already been lost to mining it in pools because you have to pool because it costs $64,000 to be a validator and you have to become a network admin and a server admin. So you like, it's terrible. It's going to introduce more and more centralization, which at the network level is very bad. So
Before you
Pulse
go
solves
on
all
with
that.
this point,
Mhm.
can I ask about Pulse as a thing? Is it like Ethereum 2.0 but for Hex, or is it something that would attach
No, it's
to
everything.
the Ethereum?
It's
for Hex users.
It is. Are you familiar with Matic, BSC, XDAI?
Yeah, well, this is I'm going to lead on to the
Sure.
kind of layer two
They're
and
forks
how
of Ethereum that launched
Yeah.
empty and have higher throughput, lower fees.
Yeah.
Pulse is a fork of Ethereum that has higher throughput and lower fees, but it brings system state, which means that you get 10,000 new coins on a new network that you're getting for free. It's the largest airdrop in history. Coins that are priced out on Ethereum that can't function any longer will be able to function on Pulse. Stable coins like USDT and USDC, they're going to be on Pulse too. They're not going to be redeemable for dollars, but I don't think they're going to be worth nothing. And so how much will they be worth? I have no idea. Now, their admins could go and validate all those coins whenever they want.
Rockstud purse, my $3,000 Prada jacket, $2,000 Prada shirt, $2,000 or $3,000 Prada pants, Prada glasses, Prada hat, Prada bracelet, and it's all Prada shirt, Prada hat, Prada glasses, Prada pants, and it's all nylon, so the haters' tears fall right off. Prada shirt, Prada hat, Prada glasses, Prada pants, and it's all nylon, so the haters' tears fall right off.
Lil Bubble, let me ride that rocket.
All right, so that was the video, folks. There's the video. Now I'm going to put.
And that's Hex Token, by the way. Oh, well, first of all, shout out to Little Bubble. If anyone knows Little Bubble, he doesn't have the biggest channel, but his stuff is amazing. I love Little Bubble. I want to pay Little Bubble to do an episode, a video for me, or whatever. I want to find out how to make that happen, and I will make that happen, and I will do all of that stuff. But it's Christmas, so we'll leave it on the burner. One more time back, though. Come on, that's too good. That beat is so hot, dude. Little Bubble, dude. I'm telling you, I will liquidate all my stuff to get Little Bubble on the payroll because his beats are too hot.
And of course, let's go. Bam.
Man, this Hex Token, by the way, my man Hex Token. If you're not following Hex Token on Twitter and Hex Token on YouTube, every day he streams. He's one of the best streamers. I watch him all the time. If you're not, all right, hold on.
All right.
If you like all this stuff up here, Hex Pulse Chain, PulseX, Zen, everything. This dude covers everything, and he covers it smart. He actually talks about the details. He talks about it quick, and he has fun with it. And he's a fun guy. And I want you to go over right now, and I want you to absolutely subscribe. I don't shout out too many people because of my never paying attention to anyone but myself, narcissism. Merry Christmas, GRC, and all of the CITM fam. Huge things for you guys in 2023. Hey, be nice. Thank you so much for the kind comments and the $5 super chat. That is very appreciated by me. Okay. Dude, he shills maximum. That's what I love about him, dude. He shills maximum stuff, maximum quickness with maximum class. I'm an Italian man. Yes. I am an Italian man. I look extra Italian when I'm like not, I'm just, it's Christmas. It's Christmas. It's Christmas. It's Christmas. They call me, what's that Scarface actor? Al Pacino. People call me Al Pacino. And I'm the Al Pacino of crypto in his heyday, though. In his heyday. No drug sales, though. Only counterfeit leverage. All right, go follow him. We'll play it back one more time because it was too good to be true.
All right, so that was the video, folks. There's the video.
And he's from Tasmania, I think. Other side of the world. 13 hours up, I think.
Here we are, folks.
Merry Christmas. Thank you again for the super chat. This is amazing. I'm enjoying myself. This Christmas is a great Christmas stream, and I really am enjoying it.
And of course, let's go. Bam.
Here in my $3,000 Valentino Rockstud purse, my $3,000 Prada jacket, $2,000 Prada shirt, $2,000 or $3,000 Prada pants, Prada glasses, Prada hat, Prada bracelet, and it's all Prada, 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 Prada shirt, Prada hat, Prada glasses, Prada pants, and it's all nylon, so the haters' tears fall right off. Product, 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 Prada shirt, Prada hat, Prada glasses, Prada pants, and it's all nylon, so the haters' tears fall right off.
Lil Bubble, let me ride that rocket.
Dude, Little Bubble. Go straight to Little Bubble's account and hit the like. His shorts, his everything. He kills it. I love guys like this that make creative, actually awesome stuff with their own twist, their own creativity in it. And that's him. That beat is fire. I'd rather have Little Bubble than DJ Khaled any day because Little Bubble doesn't scream in the beginning of every song his name. That's ignorant. I hate when he does that. Every time, too. Every time. At the end, he says, ride that rocket. I don't know why it says ride the rocket, but it says it at the end. It's nicer at the end. And this is the meme of the year. So before we get into the news, guys, the quick Christmas news, this was the winner of the meme of the year. Of course, you know who won. You would have thought Daquan, Mashinsky, all these heavy hitters, Richard, Paulstein, everything, all these cool memes that could have been made. And this dude just comes Reggie Bush, Heisman year, and says, hold my beer. Do you feel me? And he says, hold my beer, and he's an island boy. And there's two memes associated with the winner. You know, I wanted Butt Boy to win, but he just hasn't been predatory in so long, so it doesn't punch as hard. Now he's just pretending like he's some sort of alpha male, which is odd, but whatever. But SBF is on a whole nother level. He's gone full on regimen, locked in. He's doing a health regimen. Supposedly he's getting all his nutrients. Supposedly he's going on a 45-minute walk. Dude, when guys like this start doing 45-minute walks in a little bit of a regimen, in 9 hours of sleep, no amphetamines, in 3 weeks, they turn into God. Again, they remember years of downstream amphetamine effects happen on your brain. So if you take amphetamines every day, there's like a lagging downstream neurotransmitter, death. They just don't hit the way they do, and you become depressed. And you seek out beanbags and orgies and things like this. And this happens. It happened to SBF. But he got rugged because there were people in there that were being... But this is the meme of the year. And then we'll play the Island Boy. And then I'm going into the news. We'll talk about what's going on in crypto today. And we'll look at Dex Screener. And I'll show you some of the Christmas miracles that this depression has to offer us. Because these NFTs are coming out.
No one knew how much risk was in that system. Bilateral, spook, non-reported transactions. No one knew how much risk was in that system. Repackaged and re-leveraged again and again and again and again. No one knew how much risk was in that system. Bilateral, spook, non-reported transactions. No one knew how much risk was in that system. Repackaged and re-leveraged again and 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 again. Repackaged and re-leveraged again and again and again and again and again and again.
That's a scam! Yeah, absolutely could pull it off without my math degree. Use very little math. Use a lot of like elementary school math. Being comfortable with risk is very important.
No one knew how much risk was in that system. Bilateral, bespoke, non-reported transactions. No one knew how much risk was in that system. Repackaged and re-leveraged again and 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 again. Repackaged and re-leveraged again and again and again and again and again and again.
That's a scam!
Lil Bubble, let me ride that rocket.
Lil Bubble's that guy. Biceps in the chat for Christmas for Little Bubble. Little Bubble made this show great. Little Bubble makes a lot of people's shows great, I'm sure.
So I have to say I'm a little disappointed.
But we have to, I'm sorry, Little Bubble. A year ago, a dude with 7 subscribers won this competition. I want you to understand this. 1 year ago, a guy with 7 subscribers posted a video. This was a year ago. You know what we call this guy? Michael Jordan with 7 subscribers. He comes up and wins this meme competition. He's posted 3 videos. He has 6 comments, 3 of them being from this morning. One's in the chat. One's in the chat. No, F's in the chat for Little Bubble getting wrecked by this dude on a one-off miracle, one-hit wonder. Wasn't even thinking about it. Was just playing around with his computer, and he comes out and he wins. Oh my God. A year ago, this was posted. A year ago, he's posted 6 videos, none of them crypto related. This one was just the gods inspired this one. The Lord inspired this to happen a year ago, like the Red Sea parting.
So I have to say I'm a little disappointed by your backdrop, because I thought because of that clampdown that you've moved your headquarters from Hong Kong to the Bahamas. Where's the beach?
Cause I'm an island boy and I've been trying to make. Oh, I'm an island boy. I'ma just island boy. I'ma just island boy. I'ma just keep that done. I'll be just staring at the sun. I'm just a fool gazing. I'm like, who I'm staying. They're like, you wanna be famous. I'm trying to be out the greatest. I'm gonna Florida boy. They got a real damn tropical. I'm an island boy. Put my vest on, yeah, like a walk one man. Trying to make it to the top. I'm an island boy. I've been trying to make it.
I mean, the Wi-Fi is actually not that great in the water, but no.
Come on. That dude posted that. I know it only took him a second. That one was inspired by something greater than man. The Island Boys and that synergy. All I am is what I am going after. JRC, you are really a young Pacino. Guys, if you're not following Lane, first of all, Christmas. It's Christmas. Go follow Lane. He's a young man. He's going to take over. He's going to be the first internet president. That's Lane. Look at him. Look at him. He's classy. He's funny. He's like 18. He posts this every day. Day 15 of tweeting Richard Hart until he goes on Crypto in the Morning with Jim Rat Crypto, Sam Stolt, and Bullish Ox. Merry Christmas, everyone. Merry Christmas to you, Big Time Lane. I want everyone in here to retweet this. Lane is the future. I am but a what do they call it? I'm but a tool for the Lord to use, but Lane's the real deal. I'm but a peasant. You understand? You understand? It's that young. I'm 28. I'm old. I'm washed. No, I'm just joking. But these guys, I'm trying to inspire the youth. Everyone older than me, you done all stuck in your shit. Me too. So let's get this retweeted by everyone to make Richard have an aneurysm this morning. If you want Richard to have a Christmas miracle aneurysm, look at that relevant people right on the right. Hold up. What does it pop up? I don't make this stuff up. Relevant people. Lane, Richard, GRC. You don't see that list every day. Woo! That's a woo. It's getting hot in here. If you're not following Lane, run them likes up. Run them likes up. Lane, when are you ready to go full time with GRC? How much they paying you at your job? You're like real young. They probably ain't paying you too much. If I could replace it with a little bit, just cool. Just dip. Just come hang out with the boys. Christmas miracle. No miracles, just good times. And then of course I did my if you don't follow me, I did my little Merry Christmas fam. God bless. Stay on your mission. DeFi. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. So if you want to go Merry Christmas with me, you Merry Christmas with Lane. I mean, whatever. I don't know. I don't know much about this Christmas, what to say about Christmas, but let's get into the news real quick. I do need to look at the news, and I do need to look at Deck Screener because I have not yet today, which is a problem, but we're just going to let it slide. Let's go to the news. Let's see if we have any new COVID-19 vaccine recommendations, oral or the jabby. JK. Okay, here's Bloomy. Thank God. I love Bloomy. I don't know if did any of you guys like the Bloomberg market and finance? Like, I know it's all financial blish blosh, but like as far as when I run these channels, I find my way to Bloomberg quite often. And I'm not saying the ladies, they don't hurt, but I don't think that's the only reason why. I think they're pretty unbiased here. At least a little. Let's listen to what we got. This is from this morning.
Ava, you have been all over the Southern District of New York, and I'm wondering here, what does it mean to have seen these testimonies by Caroline Ellison and Gary Wang, and what new information does it give us about this case against FTX founder Sam Bankman-Fried?
Well, this is the first time that we've heard from Caroline Ellison in her own words as to what was going on at FTX and Alameda before its collapse last month. And it's the same case with Gary Wang. If we look at what Caroline Ellison said during her plea hearing on December 19, she spoke to the relationship between FTX and Alameda. She said that Alameda was borrowing money from FTX.com and had an unlimited line of credit. This arrangement allowed Alameda to use this money without being required to post collateral and without having negative balances or without being subject to margin calls on FTX.com's liquidation protocols. She said she knew what was happening was wrong and that she was in agreement as well with Sam Bankman-Fried to not publicly disclose that Alameda was then going on to loan billions of dollars to FTX executives. She also said that Sam Bankman-Fried, herself and others had created balance sheets that made the financial health of Alameda look better than it actually was.
Ava, walk us through next steps here. Where do we go from here? What kind of charges are Caroline Ellison and, of course, Sam Bankman-Fried, as well as their deputies, looking at?
Well, Caroline Ellison and Gary Wang, who were some of Sam Bankman-Fried's closest associates within the FTX group, they have pleaded guilty to several fraud charges. Ellison has pleaded guilty to 7 different offences, including wire fraud. And Gary Wang, who co-founded FTX with Sam Bankman-Fried, has pleaded guilty to 4 charges. The prosecution revealed this only this week after Sam Bankman-Fried was on a flight midair on his way back to the US after consenting to extradition in the Bahamas. These 2 won't be sentenced until the rest of the FTX prosecution case is dealt with, because they are cooperating witnesses, and how much cooperation they give and how unuseful they are to the prosecution will go towards sort of balancing up, I guess, how much of a penalty and how much prison time they do down the track.
So this is another lovely young lady that I enjoy to watch, and it's because she gets right to the brass tacks of it. There's some bigger corruption going on behind the scenes with these lawyers and with these law firms and with these political figures, and I think it's really important that people like her, like, God bless this woman. She's a beautiful, nice woman. She has no reason to be freedom fighting this hard, but God bless her, and I'm happy that she's doing it, because it's not easy to do. And I'm sure as a female, it's even in a more odd dichotomy. Even as a guy, it's an odd feeling to always be like pushing up against stuff like that. And as if she has 193,000 subscribers, so she has a lot of subscribers. She gets right to the brass tacks of it. And I'm not disrespectful about these ladies. I'm not. I'm really not. I don't think that's even the right way to be. It doesn't really create much synergy either. Like, what the hell is that going to do for me to be a rude whatever? She's wearing a Led Zeppelin t-shirt. I'm wearing a freaking Christmas pajamas. Let's keep it classy. It's Christmas. In the chat, I want class.
Merry Christmas, guys! Today we're going to break down all the ways that Sam Bankman-Fried has gifted himself a lot of special requests, a very, very lavish lifestyle to the expense of very many people. So if you want to know what we're talking about, keep watching. In the meantime, hit like and subscribe. If you want to know our most recent trade alerts, some coins that you might be surprised that we have exited and maybe stopped accumulating altogether, you have to check out the CT Club. The link for that is down below. You get our trade alerts, portfolio updates, all that good stuff. So let's get into the nitty gritty of what's happening with Sam. Now, we all already knew that Sam Bankman-Fried and Caroline Ellison made sure to have special treatment for themselves. And this was achieved through the people that they knew. And here's some facts perfect examples of how they facilitated their dream life of special treatment. So first of all, Caroline Ellison admitted to being in agreement, deciding with Sam Bankman-Fried to use FTX as their unlimited piggy bank, basically. Not the kind of piggy bank where you put money in, but the kind where you break it all to get all the money out. So yeah, definitely agreed purposefully to not only commingle user funds with the investment funds and things with Alameda, but deliberately using user funds from FTX to spend it on whatever the heck they wanted. Also, the SEC has had more meetings with Sam Bankman-Fried and FTX than any other cryptocurrency company. And the reason behind this now, it looks like it's because they were trying to create specific regulations and a rule book just for FTX that would favor FTX. Again, this is coming from Representative Tom Emmer from the US, the guy who was bringing up the suspicions that Gary Gensler had. He knew about the fraud of FTX already happening. So we have to see what the charges from the SEC coming against Sam Bankman-Fried look like, because they definitely had a very special relationship facilitated by Gary Gensler to favor FTX. Now, again, I don't know if this is the same judge that granted Sam Bankman-Fried bail, but if it is, it makes a lot of sense because the U.S. judge that was assigned over Sam Bankman-Fried's case had to step away because she was tied to a law firm that had at one time represented FTX. So, yeah, Sam has a lot of friends in politics, in the judicial system, and I don't think that's going to be a pattern that's going to go away anytime soon. Lastly, most recently, we're seeing photos of Sam Bankman-Fried flying home to stay in his, not in the U.S. prison or jail, for months on end before his court case, but he's flying home to his parents' house, his multi-million-dollar house, in first class or business class on American Airlines. There's been some photos now leaked of Sam Bankman-Fried hanging out in the business lounge and hanging out in business class, flying on his way to his parents' house. So gotta love a criminal life, right? And if you don't believe me, you want to see this footage for yourself, I posted these photos on Twitter. All of the links to our official social media pages, mine and Toby's, are down below in the video description. At Twitter, I am at Blockchain Chick. Lastly, you guys, we have so much fun been hearing about Binance. And with the FTT token from FTX officially being declared a security, that's, a roadblock for potentially any exchange, in my opinion, that has their own native token. Binance obviously has their own token, BNB, and it has notoriously been unsuccessful at being listed on other US-based exchanges. So definitely a concern for anyone who is concerned about the longevity of Binance and the Binance token, possibly BUSD, because that stablecoin is directly tied to, the faith and the infrastructure that Binance supplies as well. So just more things to be aware of, have in the back of your head, have a plan B with Binance.
She don't like the Binance. I don't even think about Binance like that. Maybe people should. Is she talking about the exchange? People need to decipher between those, please, and tell me why they feel that way about both, please. We don't like broad generalizations too much, but I understand what she's saying. They're kind of, the CZ Binance thing is interesting, but I'm not willing to go ahead and say, again, I need some more details.
Of course, Sam Bankman-Fried.
So 39 minutes ago, we're going to do two more news clips, and one's going to be about crypto and the macro, BlackRock take, Coin Bureau. And I think I'm doing a show. Hey, guys, real quick. I think I'm doing with, Zenzu, the guy who does Twitter Spaces and does YouTube, and he's with Jack. I don't exactly know his direct affiliation with everything, but I'll ask him. He's coming. I think he's coming on the show tomorrow. I think we're going to be talking about ZenFTs. So if you want to talk about ZenFTs with somebody who knows more than anyone, come on over. Sam, I think everyone will be back. I don't know. We'll see. I think everyone will be back in the house again. It's the holidays. Take it easy. I'm going to keep the show running. It's my duties. All right. So real quick, Max Kaiser just reveals strange details of SBF. I haven't heard this one yet, and I'm going to have to run through this before we get into the macro. Guys, but don't forget, it's a wild time for macro. There could be volatility at this time. I'm not saying we're going into a bull market right this second. I don't know. But what I'm saying is there could be pumps, and there could be fake news, and there could be real news, and there could be crazy things that happen. So you got to stay sharp. Everyone gets less sharp around this time of the year. Stay sharp. Stay watching this channel. I'm telling you. And I'm not even saying my information is better than everyone else. It'll keep you you just got to stay in the wave with everything with someone honest. That's the hardest part, because most people, like Butt Boy did, like everyone did, like Scott Meeker did, like Crypto Banter did, they all ran to zero on Terra Luna and everything. If you can stay out of trouble and learn, you can change your life extremely fast. Changing your life has little to do with money. Money's just like the aftermath of all of it, generally. Well, that's a complicated. It depends where you're at, but We know overhead to risk ratio. We talk about it all the time, but let's keep going. And I'm going to go another 20 or 30 minutes. I'm ready to rock.
He has had to leave his tropical paradise where he was in one of the 5 worst prisons in the world. So he was at first fighting extradition, and then he spent 4 days in one of the 5 worst prisons in the world and decided, well, actually, I'd rather go back to the U.S. And of course, he posted $250 million bail, and he's out. I saw some photos of him in the first class lounge, which I know very well, at JFK, the American Airlines first class lounge. He was there with I think his parents and some FBI agents escorting him back to San Francisco, where he's going to live in luxury until he ever goes to trial.
Right. Well, it's a video game. So those days and nights in the prisons was equivalent to when you open a bad door in a video game and you have a penalty, or Chutes and Ladders. It's a great game we used to play as kids. You have a ladder, you go up, and then you hit a chute and you fall down. So this is just part of the video game. He had a 4 or 5 night experience in the simulated prison environment. It was all put together for him as part of his game operators. There is no prison in the Bahamas. He never was involved in any scandals per se. He's just part of the simulation, and he had to go into that experience of the simulated prison. And now he's on an airplane flying around with guards. He's looking for his next power up pill to take to get to the next level of the video game, called FTX Scammer Fraud. And he's definitely the most winningest player. His girlfriend, Caroline, is in New York. She's trying to play the game as well. Apparently, she's copped to charge and to save on some simulated jail time, but she's out drinking fancy coffee and Starbucks and whatnot. So this is really, the culmination of 30 years of gaming, I would say.
Who Wants to be a Quintillionaire? If I were going to call this game something, I would be Who Wants to be a Quintillionaire? Because, of course, Sam Bankman-Fried was flown in a Gulfstream G550 back from the Bahamas to New York, landed in White Plains. And so he was flown in luxury and from the Bahamas to New York. And one thing that I noticed is, of course, he went into Manhattan for 1 night in prison before he made bail or bond, whatever you want to call it. He was released the next day after paying, I don't know how much of the $250 million he had to put down, but maybe 5% or 10% his parents did, using their house as collateral. But nevertheless, the point is he only had to stay 1 night and then was released the next day. When if you look at Rikers, you have on Rikers a bunch of non-quintillionaires. And you'll find I think there have been actually 19 deaths so far in custody in Rikers just in 2022. And many of them were suicides from young men who have been there for sometimes up to 3 years.
Suicides from young men. Give me a fucking break. That have 3 years? Suicide. Is that what they call it these days? Suicide. This is Rikers Island, guys. Remember, this is in New York. Lord have, and I've talked about this verbatim. I've had guys on my show. I've talked about the prison stuff all the time because it's something that's blatantly obvious to me. It's like, let's just rewind what she said right there. Like, and he's probably going to go to prison. Like, I don't want anyone to get it twisted. Like, if you don't know much about the legal system, I'm not saying he's definitely going to go to prison, but if you don't know much about the legal system, like, he's on bond. They're just doing another trial. It's on January 3rd. Like, Christian, what do you think? That's what I'm saying, Christian. They might sacrifice his shit. Like, when I say that shit, I'm not joking. Like, I mean, like, it might be bad in the Bahamas, but you could probably pay your way out of it. You can't pay your way out of Rikers Island. You can't pay your way out of the shoe. You can't pay your way out of the fucking hole. They'll die. Well, yeah, but I mean, well, true. But I mean, don't you think more people have been murdered because of something else rather than highlighting the guys that have 3 years that were maybe? There is a lot of mental health stuff. You went to Rikers, dude? That's crazy. Anyway, any comments on all that, guys? I'm gonna replay that one more time. These places are dangerous, man. And I'm only highlighting that because this dude is not a dangerous man. One's in the chat if you think this dude's going to get slaughtered if he goes to any federal penitentiary or anywhere where there's real criminals that he has to interact with. I mean, if he has to interact with people hands-on, it's going to be trouble. I hope this guy was watching. It's crazy. It's crazy. I think he's going to get locked up. I think they're going to end it. And I think the rich guys are going to get away with it.
Whatever you want to call it. He was released the next day after paying, I don't know how much of the $250 million he had to put down, but maybe 5% or 10% his parents did, using their house as collateral. But nevertheless, the point is he only had to stay one night and then was released the next day. When if you look at Rikers, you have on Rikers a bunch of non-contillionaires. And you'll find there, I think there have been actually 19 deaths so far in custody in Rikers just in 2022. And many of them were suicides from young men who have been there for sometimes up to 3 years. One of the men who committed suicide for things like stealing a backpack or something really small, something minor relative to what Sam Bankman-Fried is alleged to have done. If you're poor, you end up in Rikers and you're there for years.
Hey, Christian, let me ask you one simple question, Christian. What is the pettiest crime you've seen anyone locked up? Like, what is the pettiest crime that you've seen a normal dude locked up for that didn't have like crazy priors? Like, what is the pettiest crime you've seen someone stumble in to a serious penitentiary with and talk to? Like I'm curious because I have a couple friends of mine that got, but they're not, some of the stuff they did is a little more serious. It's just the drugs. But like, I think it's interesting. Anyone in the chat, you know anyone who got locked up for something petty? Tell me a little story. Give me a little blurb. Like, what do you know someone? Oh, I know one. When I was 18, I was working at Jimmy John's. And I didn't have a driver's license yet because I got in trouble for some shit. I was 18, I think. And I worked at Jimmy John's and there was a supervisor and he was like 22, 23. He seemed a lot older to me, but now in hindsight, he was obviously super young. And he had 2 kids. He's a light-skinned black dude. He's like 6 foot. He was like good looking dude. He was working hard, kind of like head down, a little depressed-ish. He got locked up for 2 full years for 2 grams of marijuana in 2 separate bags. He got felony distribution for 2, and he went to prison. And he had 2 babies. And he worked 24 hours a day. You know what I mean? So that was mine. And like that one shocked me because I remember thinking like I don't think they would do that to me. And like he was definitely like, you know, from you know, the crowd that the poverty crowd that she was mentioning of people that maybe have lower income and stuff. I guess I was I don't know. Like there is some race. It is about race sometimes too. Like nobody really cares if I have a big load of money or don't. They would never know. But maybe sometimes I would get the pass just because they would assume. But again, I know some white guys that look really scary, and I think everyone. So it's just like, try to be a nice person. Just try to take a shower and just make your hair look as normal as you can. And I don't know where I'm getting at anymore. SBF's in trouble. So we're gonna be watching this, guys. You know, I'm the only guy on the internet covering that case already live. That thing's already pending live, January 3rd. Go to my pending streams, you'll see it. So let's play it a little bit longer. It's really curious when I see guys like this. I want to see if he'll end up in jail. Like I've watched a lot of normal dudes end up in jail real bad, and this is not normal. This dude stole $1.9 billion of people's money in one day.
Without the ability to get out, I guess they must suffer from cash bail, where if your bail is $250 million, you have to come up with the entire amount. Where obviously Sam Bankman-Fried and his family did not have to come up with $250 million. So it's who wants to be a cantillionaire. If you're a cantillionaire, we see obviously you get treated very differently. The moral system and the legal system that justifies the big plunder is quite extraordinary for all to see. You could just see it right there.
Oh yeah, well, the type of bail, actually, the classification of that bail means that his parents had to put up exactly zero. They put.
He had to put up this much money. He put up this much money. This much money. All he had to do was sign his name on a paper and say, "I'm not leaving." No money transferred. Zero. Not even a lot of, like, it's just complete false, but like they gave him the easiest agreement I've ever seen. Sign your paper, 250 million, bam, go back home. That's insane. Remember, I'm going to rewind that again. Catch what he said. He's not joking here.
You could just see it right there.
Oh yeah, well, the type of bail, actually, the classification of that bail means that his parents had to put up exactly zero. They put up their $4 million house to secure this $250 million bail. They had to put up zero cash. So absolutely nothing was put up. Now, as far as the other players in Rikers, those are what we call, I forget the initial now, NPCs or non-playing characters.
NPC.
Yeah, non-playing characters. They're in the game. They're just the background noise to the game. They're not actually in the game. So they don't count at all. They're just, they're written in, they're programmed into this game called Who Wants to Be a Cantillionaire, and they don't exist either. So I guess it's Nora the Explorer meets the Matrix meets Who Wants to Be a Cantillionaire. And there's going to be a 3-picture deal. I'm sure he's going to do a deal with Hollywood. I'm sure that law that says if you're a convicted felon, you can't, or in the process of being a convicted felon, you can't do a Hollywood deal to capture or make money on your criminal activity. I'm sure that'll be waived. I'm sure he'll be starring in a 3-picture deal for Paramount Streaming, starring Sam Bankman-Fried, reenacting all the key moments in his journey, his incredible epic journey.
Would be cooler if he joined the gang. It would be a cooler video. Would be a cooler movie if he joined the gang and went 20 deep, came out praising the Lord. Wouldn't that be an interesting movie? Hey, he's got connections. What if this dude's like real deal, like in real life, like he's just like doesn't give a fuck. He's just like badass, Billy Badass. He probably starting to feel that way, but I don't know if it's come to him yet that whether he can go to prison. And I don't know. I'd be so scared, yo. I would be, but he's so famous now. It's like so weird. It's so weird. It's so weird. What gang are we thinking SBF's going in? Where's he from? First of all, where the heck is he from? Let's see where he's from. 92 baby, he's 30. He was born on the campus of Stanford University. Yeah, I don't think they have gangs for those guys. He was born on the campus of Stanford University. What? He wasn't even born like in a normal place, like just at a hospital. He was born at is there a hospital there, I guess, or were they doing some sort of ceremony for the devil while they were having him?
Through the simulated jail in the Bahamas, through the Gulfstream jet, through Rikers Island. I mean, what a freaking story. What a great TV show this will be.
I noticed is that he seemed to be having a good time sitting there on the internet. Lord knows what he was doing, probably trading. But yeah, we had been talking about that, like while that period between the collapse, once the whole Ponzi scheme collapsed, and him being arrested. Like it was quite extraordinary that the generational gap that you saw, that the Zoomers are just like very different, right? This is even beyond like, there's the boomers, there's Gen X, and then there's millennials, and there's something kind of like tying metaverse where there are no fraudulent and Bernie Madoff, right? Bernie Madoff looked guilty. He was sheepish. He was like, looked embarrassed when he was, being filmed. He was like, I'm guilty. I did it. Like as soon as he was arrested, this guy was just like, in a totally different world, but seems like he looks kind of like a normal human being, but is in that generation of Zoomers who are in a metaverse where like you could just decide, like we've talked about, like you could just be, just because I call myself a different gender, I am. Like, it doesn't matter my body parts. It's just like, I'm a different gender. You're like, okay. And a character could swap, you know, your skin in a game, and it's just like a different character, right? Well, that's what it felt like that there was a suddenly huge gap between the generations, even between millennial and Zoomer now.
Do you think that FTX would have survived if CZ didn't tweet that Binance was selling off its FTT tokens? Please drop your replies.
No, I don't think that tweet had anything to do with it. I think he was just warning his people. You dingle. A great video, but horrible punchline for the comment. Bug. Guys, I want to know what BlackRock's predictions for 2023 are. We're going around that New Year's time. There could be crazy price action. This is actually, after all the fun we just had an amazing episode. And if you did not watch that, if you like to have fun and you want to just kick back and listen to the best funny memes ever, rewatch that video. But we gotta look. Our last 20-minute segment is just going to be BlackRock. Coin Bureau did a little hookup for us. Thank God, this dude's a goat. And I'm starting to email this guy a little bit, try to get him on the show. We'll see. It'll probably happen not too long. Once everyone gets back, and everyone's just grinding right now. It's not really like guest time. Everyone's kind of like head down, doing that thing. But if you want to know about blockchain and all this, if you want to know about the macro and the markets and what's going on right now, BlackRock and Coin Bureau, they usually do a great little segment here. Let's watch this 15 minutes clip, and then I'm going to close up. This will be a good one, though. This is just from 3 hours ago, so this is right now.
Shaped by supply. More specifically, most of the inflationary pressures that are currently above target levels. Leave a link to all the videos that I've demoed. 2023 Global Outlook, a new investment playbook, and it was authored by some pretty senior folks over at BlackRock. These include the likes of the head of its investment institute, the company's vice chairman, and a number of other senior researchers. The first few words set the tone for what follows, because the first thing that they reference is the quote, Great Moderation. This was a period of roughly 40 years of low and stable inflation. However, as we've seen in the past 2 years, that time is long gone. Inflation is in double digits in Europe and came close to double digits in the US. Moreover, the authors note that recessions seem to be on the cards, as central bankers crush demand in order to bring down said inflation. This makes it that much harder to decide on asset allocation, especially as it relates to equities and other risk-on assets. The authors think that central bankers' intransigence on inflation is likely to be challenged the more damage that they do to the economy. While many of them have targeted that magical 2%, it seems unlikely that they'll ever be able to get inflation down to that level again. Now, the main question that the authors are trying to break down is whether the markets are adequately pricing in the amount of economic damage that we're likely to see next year. For example, they don't think that equity valuations are there yet. However, they do think that this could be a good time to start rethinking bonds, especially in a higher yield environment. Of course, one size does not fit all when it comes to fixed income investments. Longer-term government bonds are not as favorable given the current high levels of inflation. That inflation is something that the authors admit will be with us for a long time. We'll have to learn to, quote, live with inflation as long-term drivers keep it consistently above target levels. Okay, so that's the intro. It's quite clear that the playbook needs to be changed because the game has changed. So let's hop right on into the first section though, and this is titled, quote, The New Regime Playing Out. The authors note that this new regime will be shaped by supply. More specifically, most of the inflationary pressures that we've seen over the past 2 years have been as a result of supply shocks. These supply shocks have crushed equity valuations and sent those bond yields soaring, leading to a weird outcome where equity and bond prices have been positively correlated. More on that in a bit. Now, these supply shocks that I mentioned are down to two main factors. One is the shifting of consumer spending away from services to goods. This caused those supply bottlenecks that we saw during and after the pandemic. However, another really important factor is the shortage of labor. While this was initially as a result of people voluntarily exiting the workforce, the trend seems to have continued because of aging populations. The authors also note that central bank policies will not impact on these production constraints. Monetary policy can only impact broader demand, but not on what types of goods and services are demanded. While this is indeed true, they do seem to conveniently forget that central bankers around the world literally flooded the system with money during the pandemic. So they bear much of the blame for the high levels of inflation that we're now seeing. Be that as it may, central bankers are trying their darndest to bring that inflation down to 2%. And this is seen in the chart the authors have for us here. In order to bring inflation back down to the 2% target, they will have to crush economic growth by at least 2% to bring us back in line with the previous target trend. But, as I mentioned, this is becoming increasingly unlikely, and central bankers around the world are slowly beginning to indicate that they would be okay with an inflation target above 2%. Now, this is something I analysed in a separate video on a Goldman Sachs report, which I will also leave linked to in the description. So, it could be likely that the Fed will allow growth to continue on the current trajectory. Now, could these supply factors ease? Well, possibly. But the authors do see at least three long-term trends that are likely to keep this above average. These include aging populations and the resulting worker shortage, geopolitical tensions and the supply chain issues they bring, and the transition to net zero carbon emissions. Now, that third one is particularly suspicious, given what we now know about ESG policies and who has been pushing them. But we'll get onto those a little bit later on. On to the next page of the report, though. Now, this over here is particularly interesting. It's a matrix which explains the author's tactical view of navigating the markets next year. How you should position your portfolio based on a number of different scenarios. The quadrants are risk on, risk off, i.e. risky assets or risk averse, and damage priced, damaged, not priced in terms of the Fed's economic damage. Now, based on which quadrant we're in, they say whether we should be overweight, underweight, or neutral on these particular asset classes. We're currently in the quadrant where we're still in a risk-off environment and the damage has not been priced in. This we know because the Fed's fund rate is currently 4.5%, and the terminal rate that the Fed officials view from the dot plot is higher than 5%. So, in other words, we are still nowhere close to interest rate cuts. Currently, BlackRock is underweight long-term nominal bonds and underweight equities. So this is a max defensive stance. However, it can turn bullish depending on whether the market moves into a risk-on environment or whether the damage has been priced into the markets. But how do we determine this exactly? Well, that's on the next page over here under, quote, pricing the damage. As the authors point out, a recession could be on the way, and unlike in other recessions where the Fed was ready to turn on the taps, that won't be happening this time around. Hence, the notion that someone could, quote, buy the dip just won't be applying today. Despite how much you think markets have fallen, they still may not be fully pricing in the damage from the Fed. Although the damage is building up. The authors point to what's going on in the US housing market. surging mortgage rates have put a dent in the sales of new homes. You can see this in their chart over here, which shows the fall. It's more precipitous than in any other Fed rate hiking cycle. Pretty alarming. The authors point out that it's not just the home sales, but also deteriorating CEO confidence and delayed capital expenditure. In Europe, there's also the energy shock, which has decimated consumer confidence. Now, as to whether the damage is priced in, the authors think that current earnings expectations haven't even adjusted for a, quote, mild recession. It's for that reason that they think that the damage isn't reflected and why they are underweight developed market DM equities. That being said, they do expect the Fed to stop the hiking cycle in 2023 and allow rates to stabilize. But then, even if rates do reach the terminal 5.1%, there's been no indication as to when these could be brought down again. Now, while this may be bad for equities, it's not necessarily all that bad for bonds. Given these higher interest rates, fixed income assets are finally offering a yield worth parking funds in. However, the authors stress that we have to take a more granular approach to the types of fixed income assets that we choose to allocate to. For example, they think that investment-grade credit appears more alluring now. They think that these can hold up in a recession because companies have, quote, fortified their balance sheets by refinancing debt at lower yields. They also think that investment in agency mortgage-backed securities and short-term government debt could make sense given the attractive yields on offer. However, the one fixed income asset that they are not particularly bullish on is long-term government debt. That's because investors can no longer rely on the negative correlation that used to exist between bonds and stocks. For example, in recent months, this relationship has completely broken down, and it appears to now have gone positive. See their chart over here. There's also the fact that investors are slightly more cautious about holding this longer-term government debt because of high debt levels and high inflation in developed countries. These concerns around debt loads and profligate spending are what caused that crazy sell-off in UK gilts just a few months ago. If you want the TLDR on what happened there, then there's a video for that. On to the next page though, and that is living with inflation. The authors believe that the focus on inflation has come at the expense of growth and jobs. More specifically, the restrictive monetary policies of central banks are leading to more damage than the inflation itself. While they acknowledge that the, quote, politics of inflation has taken over the narrative, this could soon shift to the politics of recession if the central banks and politicians go too far. It's for this reason that they think central banks will struggle to bring inflation back down to the 2% target. Hence, the authors think that even with the recession coming, we are going to be living with inflation. Yes, it will eventually cool once spending patterns normalize, but it is likely to exist above policy targets for years. In terms of asset allocation, they think that this environment warrants inflation-linked bonds and other real assets.
Guys, we've been dealing with the same situation since I was an adult, so don't get worried about anything. We're in the fastest appreciating asset classes in the history of mankind. We have nothing to worry about. You need to learn how to not sell your crypto. You need to learn how to keep it and then buy more when it's low a little bit, and then just chill with your bros and do whatever you want, get on your mission. But that's not what people do, is it? No. They send their money to centralized exchanges in Terra Luna and Celsius, or they sacrifice all their money, or they stake all their money, or they over leverage into a position where it's not like necessarily beneficial to them enough in the time where it makes them freak out. But if you just keep on the mission but you keep your coins, keep your crypto, keep your decentralized stuff to yourself, you're going to be A-okay, no problems with none of this inflation stuff. You're not going to have to deal about the inflation stuff. I'm telling you, because when you put your money in the fastest appreciating asset class, when they turn the printers back on, it's just the common denominator. If other things go up, if you think other things will go up, then decentralized immutable coins with product market fit, good founders, and the whole DeFi loop will survive just by definition, unless they legislate them out somehow. But right now they got to deal with SPF and all these centralized scumbags. I think we might be in the clear, fam.
The reason for this is because they think that the market expectations for inflation have always underestimated it. You can see this in the chart over here, where the median analyst expectations were projected out in 2020, 2021, and 2022. In an environment where the market always underestimates future inflation, you want to be in assets with inflation protection. On the next page over here, they have some tactical advice for investing in the new regime. For one, they explain exactly why shorter-term government bonds are favorable to longer-term ones. Firstly, in some places, shorter-term bonds are yielding more than longer-term bonds. In the US, the 2-year yield is above that of the 10-year, for example. You can see exactly what that looks like over here. Now, in bond nomenclature, this is an inverted yield curve, and it's usually a sign that a recession is coming, so take note. Given that shorter-term rates like the 2-year are above the 10-year, it, quote, reduces the need to take risk by seeking yield further out the curve. This is also a reason why they feel comfortable adding overweight to the likes of investment-grade credit. Strong balance sheets combined with higher rates are a great source of income in a recessionary environment. The authors also say that they like US agency MBSs. Now, for those unfamiliar, these are mortgage-backed securities that offer credit protection via the government ownership of the agencies, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, Ginnie Mae. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, then I've linked to some resources in the description for you that explain how these differ from other types of MBSs. The authors again reiterate that recession has not been priced in to corporate earnings, so that's why they remain underweight the asset class heading into the new year. However, when they do decide to pivot into equities, they will be more selective in the sectors chosen. The thesis of an aging population will mean more spending on healthcare, for example, which could be a boon for that sector. They also think that the energy and financial sectors could be good ones to focus on for a cyclical play. For example, elevated energy prices will bode well for the former, and a higher interest rate environment will lift the latter. To quote the deputy CIO of BlackRock's fundamental equity division, quote, "A bottom-up look at what our companies are telling us is probably the best lens we have into the future." On to the next page, and this is more of a strategic look at portfolio allocation. More specifically, we'll need to rethink long-entrenched views of the 60-40 portfolio. During the last 40 years of the Great Moderation, people were of the view that a 40% allocation to bonds and a 60% allocation to equities had the right risk-return payoff. Not anymore. That's because the authors say that they don't see a return to the conditions that will sustain a joint bull market in both equities and bonds, as we've seen in the past couple of years. Therefore, relying on the 60-40 asset allocation could be as much as 4 times as costly in the new regime as it was in the Great Moderation. This is best illustrated in this chart, which shows the range of estimated returns based on 2 different portfolio mixes. The point that they're trying to illustrate is that investors have to be more active and dynamically adjust their portfolio weights in the new regime. They've used the example here of an 80-20 equity bond split. The estimated return is slightly positive, and the volatility between it is lower than with the legacy 60-40 split. The authors note that over the next decade, the longer-term returns of equities will be greater than those of bonds, and this, combined with an assumption of positive correlations, favors a portfolio that is overweight developed market equities. So, what does this mean for you? Well, if you're an adherent of the 60-40 portfolio theory, then you need to think long and hard about that allocation in the coming years. It doesn't matter if you're picking the right stocks in your equity bucket if the correlation between fixed income and equities is harming your overall return. Now, this next page over here is particularly interesting for me. It's the impact that the aging workforce is having on the economy. The most pressing implication of this is, of course, the lack of labor force participation. Fewer workers means higher wages, which means higher prices, which means higher inflation. While the pandemic was responsible for the notable crash in labor force participation, it still hasn't recovered to pre-pandemic levels. And it appears as though one of the primary drivers of this is those retiring from the workforce. You can see exactly what that looks like in this chart they have for us over here. And unlike those people who would come back to work after the pandemic, once someone has retired or is too old to work, they don't return to the workforce. This is bad news for the economy more broadly, as growth is likely to be slower in the coming years than in previous ones. That's because less will be produced and older people generally consume less than younger people do. On top of this, an aging population is going to mean more government spending and debt to care for these people. I talked about this in much greater detail in my video about population decline, which I will leave.
So I think we covered all our bases for today, fam. Merry Christmas, guys. I hope everyone's having a good time with their families, and reach out to the people you love and send them a message if you can't talk to them. If you can't see them today, and God bless everyone. I'll be back tomorrow. That's all I know. Happy holidays from the Crypto in the Morning squad with this young man on the right. He's getting a big time pump for Christmas. 7% on BTC, 10.49 on ETH on there. That's a good old pump. We would love a pump like that. Anyway, no biggie. We'll close it out with the best meme of them all. Want to give another shout out to this miracle meme before we go. The Bahamas meme. The one-off, the guy that no one thought could win the meme competition, the guy that no one assumed could do it, was the exact man who won it. Here it is. Let's go. Close it out, guys. Have an amazing day. God bless everyone. Be safe. Be strong. Stay on your mission. And have a laugh in between, because there's a lot of stuff on the internet you can laugh at while you're working, while you're seeing your family, while you're getting your work done. Boy, get that work done. Christmas Day, streaming. I don't know how long I've been streaming. I got to go figure out. It's been like 400 days, 300 days, something crazy straight. Whatever, man. I'm about it. I ain't even started yet. I feel like I haven't even gotten going. I feel like I just am getting my shoulder bones loosened up before the big game. So let's go. Biceps in the chat for whoever. For the dude with friggin' 7 subscribers. 7 subscribers and 4 videos. 28 likes. He's only made 4 videos.
A little disappointed by
Bye,
your
guys. Have a Merry
backdrop,
Christmas.
because I thought because of that clampdown that you've moved your headquarters from Hong Kong to the Bahamas. Where's the beach?
Cause I'm an island boy and I've been trying to make. Oh, I'm an island boy. I'ma just island boy. I'ma just island boy. I'ma just keep that done. I'll be just staring at the sun. I'm just a fool gazing. I'm like, who I'm staying. You're like, you wanna be famous. I'm trying to be out the greatest. I'm gonna Florida boy. They got a real damn tropical. I'm an island boy. Put my vest on, yeah. Like a walk one mile. Trying to make it to the top. I'm an island boy. I've been trying to make it.
I am.
You already know what time it is.
I'm
Crypt in the morning. Crypt in the morning. Crypt in the morning. Waiting on phone. Crypt in the morning. 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 Waiting on phone. Crypt in the morning. Crypt in the morning. Smoking a blunt on my way to the gym. 11 a.m. and I'm already tuned in. Got me some hacks and I'm making a steak. Got me some heads on, I'm making it rain. Pay me some maxi and that just in case. Gym ready, set me to show you the way.